Oh, I'm sorry about that. I didn't see you there. It's my first full moon and I'm trying to practice. I'm kind of nervous. First things first, I want to clear the air. I'm not a furry. I am a werewolf vampire hybrid, also known as a werepire. During the day, I like to sit down and contemplate what the fuck I'm doing on YouTube. And during the night, that's when I like to go in my cave and do bat shit and hang around. But the reason why I'm doing this is because, have you heard of the saying, to know your enemy, you must become your enemy? This is me becoming the enemy. I've watched an episode of Vampire Diaries and Twilight just to make sure I have the look down. And if you don't think I have the look down, just 1 second. Is this better? This enemy in particular believes that he is this hybrid, a fucking hacker, and a smooth criminal with the ladies. He goes by many names on social media, JupiterTheHybrid, JupiterPenel, Shadow Raven, very creative names. But I personally know him as the child predator. But most importantly, by his real name, Corbin Pennell.
I just wish that you were here already so I could hug you and hold you and give you everything. I wish I was in your pants, though, being totally honest. You definitely would want me to eat your pussy.
At the time of recording this video, he would be 26 years of age. But I'm gonna take you back a year to 2023, where Corbin would be discovered on social media. And now, without further ado, let's get started. I'm sorry about the eyeshadow, by the way. I stole it from my mommy's makeup collection, and this is all that she had. For anyone who uses makeup, I think it's called Fierce. Does it do a pretty good job at making me look fierce? But now let's get a little serious. Before we continue, I want to add a trigger warning. This video will discuss topics related to sexual assault and predatory behavior. There will be some intense moments and emotionally heavy parts, so viewer discretion is advised. Now, with that being said, let's take a deep dive into this werepire known as Corbin Pennell.
Knowing you, you'd probably throw yourself on the bed, spread your legs, and be like, eat me.
Not much is known about Corbin's beginnings on social media. This is due to the fact that most of the accounts that he creates gets banned for some unknown reason. The oldest video that I've ever found of Corbin on the internet would be in 2021.
This is a Kurt.
Dear God.
There's more.
No!
He dies every time in Fallout.
Fuck you.
You may be wondering who's next to him. Well, that's just Kurt. Kurt and Corbin were best friends around that time, and they're a part of a group home for adults with autism. Corbin has Asperger's syndrome, which is a condition on the autism spectrum where people are genuinely considered higher functioning. At first glance, Corbin actually looks kind of cute and friendly, which is scary. There's nothing wrong about this video specifically. It's just two guys being guys. The oldest account that Corbin has that is still up is his YouTube channel, Jupiter Paranormal. This channel would be dedicated to all the things that Corbin would capture that he believes is, in his words, creepy as fuck. He calls himself a ghost hunter. He has apparently studied years of material involving the paranormal. The first video would be a 7-minute long investigation of what he claims to have seen, a disembodied pale figure running across his living room to his kitchen. I'm sorry to break your guys' hearts, but this wasn't true. Here is the video. I don't want to scare you, so I'm gonna play cute music in the background just to change the tone of this video.
Hey y'all, it's Jupiter again. I was just over here watching a video and I shined my light over there. As I was shining the light of the video over there, I saw something, a disembodied something, or some sort of pale figure run across the room into the kitchen, and then it just vanished.
The only pale figure in the room would be you, Corbin. This is where I learned that he is a great storyteller and is very repetitive. The entire 7-minute video would be him repeating that there is this figure in the corner that doesn't take kindly to Corbin and his recording. He would never get off his little booty to investigate this so-called figure, but you know what? I don't really blame him. If I was in his position, I would probably do the same thing. But just to confirm if there was something really in the corner, I screenshotted what he saw. I did a little tinkering to the photo, and there was, oops, sorry, wrong photo, nothing. Absolutely nothing. I think we could all come to the conclusion that this was just a desk of some sort. Nothing creepy about this at all. This video gives the impression to the viewer that one, he either genuinely believes that there is this shadow figure, which has led some viewers to speculate about his mental health, or two, he is lying to make himself seem cooler, like some sort of ghost hunter, which he tends to do. And I'll get into that soon. He would post other videos as well, seeing things that aren't there or saying how there were spirits that have either touched him or odd presences being around him.
Another roommate who sleeps in the room down the hall, the master bedroom. Well, I felt like something just fucking touched me.
And although I might not know Corbin's beginnings on social media, he did post a video on YouTube going over different stories and what his early life was like. In this video, he talks about his love life, and I'm gonna play the beginning of the video, but he just throws a fucking curveball out of nowhere.
I'm just a guy who likes to make creepy videos and, you know, make some creepy content, but let me tell you a story. I've dated many women and had some bad relationships. These past few weeks, I've been grieving over a breakup, and I have a girl in my life who's basically accusing me of rape.
He talks about how he got accused of rape by two different girls, one by the name of P and one by the name of J. For P, she was pressing rape charges, and somehow, someway, the police didn't believe Corbin. P is going to be talked about a little bit more in this video as well, but we'll get into that. He says that in both relationships that he was the one who was miserable. And this entire video would be him basically giving us advice that if you're inside a miserable / abusive relationship, in his words, leave that bitch behind. And in the next story, he would talk about his life story. This is his story, not mine, so I'm gonna play the video for y'all.
I was born in Kuna, Idaho, and was raised until I was 16 months, and then taken from a family that I'll never get to know. After that, I was moved into a new home, a foster home. I was there until I was 5 and adopted into a family. While growing up, I had a brother who sexually abused me and made me his puppet. It went on for many, many years until after my sister told our parents. Growing up, I was different from everyone. I had a mental issue where I was different from everyone. I was a different learner. I wound up going to a group home when I was 15. There, I was constantly physically abused by staff and other people in my life. I dropped out of high school at 18 because I was going through a lot. I had family issues at home and a lot of other things going on in my life, so I had to drop my school life. After about 3 years in the group home, I moved into a rehab company. Things were cool after that for a little while, but then things started to fall apart. I was stepping outside for a cigarette one day and was just looking at the sky during the morning, and it was a beautiful sunrise, but I saw a murder of crows in the air. That same day, I went to the hospital and found out that my mother was passing away. I got to the hospital and went to the 3rd floor, I believe. I went into a room where my mom was being held and was told by my father she was going to die. Shortly after that, I was expecting the worst. Soon I got news from my father that mom was gone, that she had flatlined. And I started going downhill real fast. Throughout high school, I was a fighter. I fought anyone who looked at me funny or accused me of shit, you know? I was very violent back then. After I was 15, my parents gave me a choice. Go to a group home or go to prison like my brother. I chose the latter option, to go to the group home. But after that, I moved into a rehab company and wound up going to Centennial High School. And from there, I dropped out. I started going downhill. My mood swings got worse, my anger got worse, everything. Soon afterward, I stopped caring about others around me. But living in these companies has taught me something. I should have been there for my family, and I should have graduated from Melba so I could have had a better life. That way I could have moved out on my own and had a better life with myself, you know?
When you're listening to Corbin tell his story and having no further background information on him, how can you listen to this story and not feel a little bad? He has faced many challenges in life, from being in foster care to losing his mother and to being sick. abused by someone he believed that he could trust. When he's talking about high school specifically, it's clear that he regrets and reflects on his choices, which shows that he's aware of his mistakes and hardships. Now that we know Corbin and have some sort of background on him, I want to transition this to his TikTok accounts, where Corbin would finally be seen on social media and be exposed. Just as a reminder, these videos that I'm about to show you are reposts because his accounts were banned. These videos, in my opinion, are just priceless and perfect examples of how Corbin really believes that he's intimidating and badass. Let's check some of the videos that Corbin would post on his account.
Show your death stare when the beat drops.
Before I continue, this isn't the bad stuff. These kinds of videos that he would post are fine, but I do think that he should lay off the eye filters for just a little bit. And as you can start to see, Corbin is a little bit of a Nick addict. From the videos that I've shown you so far, a lot of them have either him smoking ciggies or hitting a good old geek bar. I want you to remember this addiction that he has, and I want you to keep this in the back of your noggin. But as I mentioned, TikTok would be the place where Corbin would be really exposed to the internet, but there was someone in particular who was the one really responsible in exposing Corbin, and that would be the TikToker, Linda Binda.
Yeah, wow, you're making me really juicy right now.
I know. I have that effect on women.
Linda would host multiple lives with Corbin where she would act very interested, flirtatious, and just feeding into the ego of Corbin. This led to very disgusting, freaky, and just insane things coming out of both of their mouths. Before watching these clips that I'm about to show you, I want you to keep in mind that this live stream was the first time that they've ever interacted with each other. And you know what? They just go straight into it. In the beginning, they start talking about relationships. We learned that Corbin is a little bit of the ladies' man, drowning in punani. He tells Linda that he has multiple relationships with different ladies and is still looking for more women. Linda tells Corbin that she is single and is looking for someone special. And Corbin, the smooth fucking criminal that he is, sweeps down and steals Linda's heart.
Well, I'm single and I'm looking for some.
Start glowing a little.
What do these eyes mean then, Corbin? Notice how when he was talking about his eyes glowing, he turned up the brightness on his computer or whatever the fucking device that he was using, and it made his eyes glow. Then to really show how confident and rizzy Corbin is, Linda asks to see his fit. Corbin sees this as an opportunity to get a little frisky. While setting down his phone for a fit check, he accidentally exposes himself and shows some skid marks on his mattress.
Someone asked for a fit check. They want to see what your outfit is. Hold on. There we go.
He calls this sweat, by the way, and it's up to you whether you choose to believe it or not. I showed you all of his clips of his game, but now I want to show you the clips of Corbin that really started to raise some red flags. The first one is when he talks about his life in high school and how he was a part of a hacker group called the Nerd Brigades. And thanks to Skylar, fuck you, Skylar, he was overthrown and Skylar changed the entire group.
I ran with a group of hackers back in Melba when I was young, when I was in high school. I'm telling the truth. I used to run with a group of hackers. When our boss man graduated and moved on to greener pastures, he left me in charge. The Nerd Brigade is what we called ourselves back then. We called ourselves the Nerd Brigade because we were just a bunch of computer nerds. Boss man moved on and handed the reins to me. My best friend Skylar stole the power out from under me. He usurped me and basically took over and turned the whole guild, that we called ourselves a guild back then, the whole guild into a group of punks.
This is what I mean about what I said earlier, lying to make himself seem cooler. You really think that Corbin was a hacker? Fuck no. No fucking shot he was a hacker. He just wants to impress Linda. And in the next clip that I'm about to show you, it had me a little confused. At first, when he was talking about his mother in his My Life Story video, it seemed like he had some love for her, but it turns out that he hated her.
My mom was a bitch anyway. She was controlling. My mother was controlling. That's all I'm going to say. That's why I said she's a bitch, is because she was controlling. She tried to control me and a bunch of others. I was her favorite child because I was her sweet little angel. Boy, am I glad that woman's finally dead and gone, because she's in a way better place than here.
He's glad that she is dead and gone. Wow. Just really discussing how he talks about his deceased mother. And right after this, Linda continues to flirt with him. But Corbin tells Linda the unfortunate truth of what is to come to their love if it develops further. That he is a hybrid.
Yeah, you don't look like a sweet little angel to me. You look like you can, like, you know, beat this coochie up.
How can I say this? I'm a hybrid between vampire and werewolf. I'm a hybrid. I was born with both halves. My dad's a vampire, my blood dad's a vampire, my blood mom's a werewolf. Meaning I wound up with both their powers, so. Sucks to be me.
This is the origin behind the name JupiterTheHybrid, by the way. But the final clip that I want to add is this. In the beginning, he is talking about going to any extent necessary to satisfy someone. Then out of nowhere, he just throws the fucking curveball again.
I mean, I'll do whatever. I'll do whatever to satisfy someone. This one chick who I dated back in high school, Paige, know what she did after I f***ed her?
What?
Pressed charges on me. Yeah. She fucking pressed charges against me. After that, she went to the police and said I f***ed her due to my little sister telling her to do it. Yeah, she's a little bitch, but I still love her. She's my little sister after all. I can't live without her. And I can't shoot her. I can't live without my siblings, and I can't shoot them.
We finally have the name to P and the first story that he posted. It's Paige. And let's analyze this for a second. Corbin is saying after they had sex, she pressed charges. But what I really think speaks volumes is that Corbin's own sister was encouraging Paige to press these charges on her own brother. Something is definitely weird and off about that situation. In just one live stream, we begin to learn how Corbin is. He's very delusional, narcissistic, a liar, and just very, very fucking creepy. And the fact that he willingly told us all of this information about these charges, I don't even understand why he felt the need to bring them up. And Linda would post these clips from the live stream to TikTok, and as you could probably guess, they went viral.
I have that effect on women. I really do. I'm also a martial artist. Piss off and eat my ass.
Oh my gosh, I would love to do that.
Freak.
A month goes by and the two lovers reunite once again. This live stream was very, disturbing. Since Corbin believes that he is actually part vampire, a lot of people were wondering if he partakes in actions that a vampire would normally do, like drinking blood. And of course not, Corbin doesn't drink blood, you silly. At least not from humans.
Someone asked, since you're a vampire, do you drink blood?
Not human blood, no.
What?
I use that as a last ditch attempt if I ever, I don't drink human blood. I don't do that. I use it as a last ditch attempt.
So what blood do you drink?
Usually animal blood. I can bring inanimate objects to life and use them as a blood source. They're known as homunculi.
So like you would find like a rabbit on the side of the road and just drink its blood?
Yeah, something like that.
We learned from Corbin that he has lived up to the title of being a nerd and has studied magic to create life forms, specifically Twilight, the fucking little pony from the My Little Pony show.
This was one of the inanimate objects I brought to life. Her name's Shiratora. Although people call her Twilight, her name I gave her was Shiratora, which is translated to shooting star. But sometimes I call her Star for short, but sometimes I'll just call her by her name. So she's one of the many homunculi I brought to life.
So what do you do to her?
I just used the blood ritual to bring her to life, and that was it.
He calls her Shiratora, and I'm not gonna feed into his delusions by calling her that name. I'm gonna call her Twilight. But Twilight would unfortunately suffer a lot at the hand of Corbin and would go through very unspeakable things. Would you believe me if I told you that Corbin and Twilight had a little bit of a love connection going on? Corbin would have enough love for Twilight to start a family. It's a little cute, until you realize that there is a process in starting a family. We find out that he's brought multiple plushies to life with the help of Twilight and one of his bodily fluids.
So like how does she get pregnant?
I don't want to explain it to you. It involves a lot of magic and pornography. That's all I'm going to say. If I were to tell you the way, it would kind of disgust you in a way. So I don't want to do that.
Here, why don't you whisper it to me and I'll tell them in the most PG way I can.
Just make sure you mute yourself or something so that way so everyone doesn't hurt.
Okay, they can't hear you.
Alright, what I do is I take a bit of my semen and inject it into her using my claws.
But the most important part of the live stream would be when Corbin asks Linda for her hand in marriage, to which she accepts.
I'm trying so hard not to laugh out of joy for this, but Linda,
Yes?
will you become my queen? Will you become my mate for life?
Oh my gosh, I would love to. I'm literally on all fours.
And as soon as she accepts, Corbin immediately assumes the position of being the alpha. I'm thinking he gets that from his werewolf side. He makes it known to people not to fuck around with Linda. And if you do, well, you're gonna find out.
Hey,
Oh, hey, Linda.
this is my man.
That's your man?
What's up? Yeah, I'm her man. So don't get any ideas. Of
Oh,
course.
I won't, bro. I won't.
Swear,
Trust me,
if
I
you do,
won't.
I'll kick your ass.
You just...
Yeah, don't flirt with my girl, or I swear to God, you'll be in pieces in the ground.
So the first question that they have is, does it lean to the left or right?
The next live stream that they would do, it would solely be dedicated into learning more about Corbin, which obviously Corbin loves to do because he's very narcissistic. Linda would ask questions from the audience that people were dying to know.
I need context to that one, people. I need
Oh, they put the eggplant emoji.
Oh, yeah, that. I'm gonna be honest, that means my downstairs area. If they're meaning if it's hard, it just stands up straight. It doesn't lean, it just stands up straight.
I've seen his wiener, by the way.
What?
More on that later. And for those of you who are curious of how their baby would look like, well, Corbin has the answer for that question.
Someone asked, how would it work if we had a child? Because you're werewolf, vampire, and I'm mermaid. Would they be a tribrid?
Something like that, yeah, maybe. If that's, I mean, some might end up that way, others might just end up with my powers, you know? It skips a few generations. answers.
He has all the fucking answers to all the possible questions that you throw at him. So far, the questions that have been asked to Corbin so far, Corbin hasn't really said anything really having to do with harming another individual. But then Corbin answered the question, what's your deepest, darkest fantasy? And his response set off some red flags.
My darkest fantasy is to watch all those who wronged me die by my hand. That's my darkest one. It makes me want, it's just one of my darkest fantasies of doing. I want to kill everybody who's wronged me. I'm not going to let them keep doing this. One of these days, if the government won't even notice, I can make those people disappear. There's places out here in Idaho where I can bury bodies and no one would think to look.
Who are those that he considers who wronged him? I'll get into that. The final bit that I want to bring up from these interviews would be that Corbin asked Linda for her hand in marriage when he was already engaged.
Someone said that you are already engaged to someone named Abby.
Oh, right. I forgot to mention her. She used to date my ex-best friend Lance, and so, you know, all girlfriends of mine, I'm making it a competition to see who can make it to my place faster.
Do you honestly think that this is hotter than me?
Oh, hell no. Maybe. I don't know.
Corbin is making it clear that there is a time crunch and there's a high demand for Corbin. And now that we have background on Jupiter, I haven't mentioned the things that were going on behind the scenes while these interviews were taking place. As we know, Corbin loves the ladies, and from what he's told us, he is this chick magnet. Women cannot get enough of his cute ass. Well, you see, a lot of things don't really matter to Corbin relationship-wise. It doesn't matter how you look, and it doesn't matter how old you are. Jupiter the gas giant has hit a record for the amount of times that he would be caught talking to minors.
Oh, piss off, haters. And by the way, I only dated minors it was only for show. I wasn't actually doing it. It was only for show.
Corbin is a fucking horn dog and wouldn't let age get in the way with him in a potential mate for life. As long as you're a girl and you're giving him attention, he will immediately assume that you want to go to bed with him on his lightly shitted mattress. One of the ways that Corbin would rizz up the ladies would be through Snapchat. He sent a Snapchat to a girl named Maya. Now, how old is Maya? I don't fucking know. All I know is that she's underage.
Okay, Maya, 3 reasons we should date. 1, if you like what you see, then take it.
Oh.
2, if you think that you'll be able to handle me, then that's on you. 3, you're cute as hell, and I'd love to have you on my arm. And here's a 4th reason. If you think that you'll be able to tame my inner beast, knock yourself out, girl. Thanks for watching.
He would send other frisky Snapchats to other people like Sophia. And I'm unaware if Sophia told Corbin if she was underage or if she was actually underaged, but nonetheless, let's take a look at these videos together.
So, your name is Sophia, right? Well, this little devil wants you to know the reason why he wants you to date him is because if you like what you see, you take it. If you like what you want, you know you want, then grab it. You know the price and buy it. These are the reasons why I want you to date me. Is you're cute, you make me laugh, you make me smile, and I love you, and hopefully you will love me in return. And Sophia, you like what you see, take it. You want it, take it for yourself. And you're brave, smart, and cute. Those are the reasons why I want you to date me. Jupiter.
He would continue to send more videos to Sophia, and it just gets worse.
Sophia, I know that you want this badly.
He has an alien tongue. Why is it green?
This werewolf is very hot for you. And if you like what you see, then take it. Because this is your way of knowing that we're gonna date. So, yeah.
He says the same line every single time. If you like what you see, then you take it. But he's a serial predator. He doesn't stop offending. He talks to people whom he believes are underaged over and over.
Jupiter, can I still send you pictures of myself even if I'm underage? Because I'm only 13.
It's up to you, sweetie, if you want to, because I don't mind. I don't mind. Do you plan on turning me in if I say yes?
No, I would never.
I'd lower the age of consent all the way to 16 if you guys wanted to. What? Or I'd even change it to 15 if you guys wanted me to.
And over again. Of course, people found out that Corbin was doing this, and Corbin would be sent constant messages from people calling him a predator. These are the people that he wants to kill, by the way. Corbin was left with no choice but to respond, and Corbin had to think of something fast and quick. Then boom, a light bulb struck.
By the way, I only dated minors as it was only for show. I wasn't actually doing it. It was only for show.
And when he got caught again, he needed another excuse, so he had to think of something fast. And again, a light bulb struck.
I was set up, I was tired, I was high on nicotine, and I wasn't thinking straight.
And then when he got caught again, he just had to stop using fucking words and use his fists instead.
Rumors floating around about me. You all need to let it go. You all need to get over it. Drop it. That's my final warning.
Now I want to play a little game with you guys. I want you to think of the worst possible apology that there is on the internet. You have a wide selection. You have Colleen Ballinger, I think that's how you say her name.
Toxic.
But I'm personally thinking of Sienna May and her interpretive dance to SA. But I'm pretty sure any apology you're thinking of seems way better after you watch this.
It is with a humble heart that I, Jupiter, aka Corbin Pinnell, was a pedophile. I ask the world's forgiveness, as well as those who I've wronged, Bree, and all those other named souls that I have wronged. I am Corbin and Jupiter, and I give you my solemn word that it will never happen again.
Corbin went down on one knee, and then I believe towards the end of the video, he went down on 2 knees and started bowing or some shit. This is the most anime sounding apology ever. But what makes this apology so bad is the fact that not even 24 hours later, he will continue to fucking pred around. He just doesn't stop. And Corbin decided to abandon his apologies altogether and decided to blame it on his autism.
Yeah, you're fucking with a 12-year-old minded man. You're dealing with a disabled adult. Thinks the cops are gonna give a shit.
He does have autism, right? But he has shown that level of awareness and knows that he shouldn't be talking to children. And he's even confident that regardless of whether or not people report him to the police, that they wouldn't give a shit for that exact reason. But you know what? What I love about the world is that there's karma. Our buddy Corbin would be faced with reality for one of the first times in his life. And he would actually get a couple knocks on the door from the police. And on July 8th, 2023, Nampa police issued a search warrant to Corbin's home for internet crimes against children. The police came, seized his devices because of these things, and maybe, just maybe, this would be the end for Jupiter, the hybrid.
Have you ever thought about maybe becoming a porn star? Have you ever thought about that? I mean, what if you and I decided to make, if ever you and I got married and we decided to make our own porn videos, and we added them to different sites and they paid us a butt ton of money, would you consider doing it with me every time?
This little werepire would not stop fucking talking to children. The person in the clip, by the way, was 14 to 15 years old. That's crazy. By this time, Linda and Jupiter would not be in contact for a little while, but there would be a new character to this story that told us the sickening truth of Corbin, and that would be his own sister, Kia. Before continuing, you could probably tell that there was a little costume change that I did. It really didn't feel appropriate to me wearing that costume, so I decided to take it off for this portion of the video. There would be a pattern in Linda's live streams where as soon as anything sexual was mentioned, Corbin would immediately bring up his sister. There are multiple examples of this, and remember, these clips are unedited. When he was talking about his turn-ons.
I like sucking on tits mostly. So if a woman likes that sort of thing, then I'll do it.
Yeah, you know I do.
Yeah. My sister Cheyenne trained me in combat, though.
When he was talking about his wiener.
I'm not very big down there, but I can still provide some satisfactory.
That's fine.
Yeah. And
To be honest, my sisters and I studied ninjutsu growing up.
Finally, when he was talking about stepsisters getting stuck in dryers.
It usually depends on how big your dryer hole is and whatnot, because some people have gotten stuck in them. One time one of my actual sisters got stuck in the dryer and I couldn't help but laugh. I was legit dying. I was dying. I was done. I was like, nope.
And what'd you do? Did you help her out?
Yeah, I pulled her out and she's like, thanks for not fucking me. And I turn and I look at her and I go, you're my sister.
Once again, the red flags were being raised and Linda somehow managed to get an interview with Corbin's sister. And while the videos I've shown you so far have been intense, this part is especially heartbreaking and terrifying.
It got so bad where I actually had to get my dad involved, because I would tell my mom and she'd be like, he just doesn't know what he's doing. It happened really frequently. I can't pinpoint like how often. I just know that it happened often enough where I was having like bruises of different colors on my body from him. It would start out as he wanted like a hug or something. Eventually I just stopped giving him hugs because it got so bad. But he would want hugs and he would put his hands where they didn't belong. And then we would call him out on it and he'd be like, I'm sorry. Kind of like what he's doing now, where I'm sorry, I won't do it again. And then he immediately does it again.
Corbin has associated his sisters with sexual things. That is exactly why there is a pattern of him following up sexual related things with his sisters. And sexual abuse wouldn't be the only form of abuse. Corbin would also be very physical with his sisters as well.
The car broke down because it ran out of gas. My oldest brother came with some gas and my dad stepped out. My sister and I that were in the car decided to idle ourselves, like entertain ourselves while we're being idle. So we started singing songs that we liked, and Corbin didn't like that, so he told us to stop or he'd hurt us. And we didn't. We told Dad, because Dad had opened the door to grab something. We're like, Dad, he's threatening us again. He's like, oh, just ignore him. He doesn't mean anything by it. He doesn't understand what he's saying. He doesn't understand what he's doing. I'm like, no, Dad. He legit will hurt us. We decided to continue with what we were doing because, that's what our dad told us to do. And Corbin grabbed the seatbelt. I was in the front seat and he pulled it tight so I couldn't move it, strangling me basically. And so I took off my shoe and I hit him with it. And he then turned to CR and said that he was going to strangle her next. And I told him if he so much as laid a finger on her, my high heel shoe that I had in my hand was going to go into his skull.
Kia would also mention a lot of favoritism from their mother for Corbin. Even after Kia would go to their mother, she made excuses on his behalf, such as he is autistic, he doesn't know what he's doing, or he doesn't know any better. But from what I've shown you, he is aware of what he's doing. I think this is why we see Corbin bringing this up as one of his excuses when he got caught. And it's because this is all he heard for the majority of his life. And the last bit of the interview that sends chills down my spine is how his sister responds to the question, what would happen if Corbin was left alone in the same room as a child?
If Jupiter was left in a room alone with a child, what do you think would happen?
If they were under the age of 10, if they annoyed him enough, I can almost guarantee that there would be a broken bone or a death of that child. 11 onward, there might be more grooming or something far worse. But if it's older, like 17, 16, 15, they might be able to kick his butt and come out okay. But younger, probably not.
So if a young child was left alone in a room with Jupiter, that child would not walk out the same?
Probably not, if they walked out at all.
And a little after this interview was published, Corbin would contact Linda again. Finally, Corbin made an appearance after 3 months, saying that he was sorry and how he promised on every single person that he had in his life that he would never talk to children again.
Jupiter, do you... Here's something. Do you promise me, promise your mother, promise your father, promise everybody in the whole world that you will not ever talk to another minor.
Do what I did again.
Yes.
I promised that I wouldn't, and I'm going to keep that.
And what's the consequence if you do talk to another minor?
That was a choice I made because I wasn't sober and I wasn't in control. Now that I'm in full control, I can safely state that it will never happen again.
But then he does this.
What if I told you that I'm 16 or 17?
I know that you wouldn't lie to me, so.
No, I turned 18 in like 8 or 9 months.
And
But
I
you're
usually
okay with
keep-
that, right? You're okay with that.
I'm okay with that because I love you nonetheless.
But another reason why I haven't been able to show up my body on Zoom because it's against the law for me to do that.
Well, technically, if it's private and no one, and this is a closed, communication channel, you can if you want.
As of what we've seen from Corbin, he just doesn't stop, and he goes through this cycle. He talks to an underage girl, gets caught, he makes an excuse or apologizes, but then repeats it all over again. You'd think after the police have investigated him and the countless amount of evidence that is stacked up against Corbin that he would maybe be taken away, but no. It just doesn't happen. And I'm not sure why. There may be reasons that I don't know. But to me, it feels like they aren't taking this situation seriously. It's obvious that Corbin isn't okay. He has mental health issues. He's very delusional, a serial pedophile, an abuser, and so much more. I would say that he needs help, but honestly, after all this, I think that he just needs to be locked up, and then and only then would he finally stop being able to talk to children. He pops in on social media every now and then and wants to convince people that he is this changed werepire and wants to touch the hearts of everyone that interact with him. But you know what, Corbin? From one werepire to another. My eyes are brown, meaning I smell shit. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry this video took a little bit longer to come out. Literally, as I was getting all this information, I would find out one thing, then something else popped up. Then something else popped up, and it was like this never-ending cycle. I've covered the very intro things of Corbin, just enough for you to understand how terrible he is. And as of recently, I'm not even sure if I could say recently, I'm not sure if this was a couple months ago, but apparently he burned his My Little Pony family as an act of love for somebody. He did this to prove that he loves that person more than his plushies that he has. I suggest you do more research of your own if you want to learn more about Corbin, but just a warning, you're gonna fall down the same never-ending rabbit hole as I did. Now, after all this heavy stuff, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Last video I mentioned how someone made art for me, and since then, so many people have reached out and done the same. Everyone who watches is so incredibly talented. We have Laura, who drew Bubbles the Elf and added a freaky ass drooling emoji. The first time that I saw this, I remember laughing. It was actually pretty funny. Thank you so much, Laura. A lot of you really like Bubbles the Elf. We have Vika, who drew a close-up of Bubbles. You made me look a little too good, but you know what? I'm not gonna be complaining about that. Thank you so much, Vika. We have Isaiah, who drew Bubbles holding the naughty list. But what I genuinely love is the fact that Isaiah added the names of people that I've covered. So cool. Thank you so much, Isaiah. And finally, we have Fairy, who has a very unique artistic style. I love this style so much and this picture. Thank you so much. Please reach out if there's anyone else that you'd like me to cover, but the next video, I already know who I'm covering.
I've already seen his BB, and he's already...
Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But yeah, peace.